Okay, I'm Phil Godfrey from John Moore's Foundation. We do grants to small grassroots, mainly organisations across Merseyside, and obviously that includes Halton as well as St Helens.
Yeah.
Our main aim is to try and relieve disadvantage among groups. What disadvantage is going to look like as a result of this crisis is something which we can't be sure of. At the moment we're very happy, and grateful to the trusts like the Steve Morgan Foundation, the Lottery, PH Holt, Eleanor Rathbone, and the National Emergencies Trust, and the LCR Cares, who are doing as much as they can to get money to where it's needed now, because this is an emergency. Our trustees felt we weren't sure that we could respond on that scale, and also felt that the consequences of what's going on now are going to be felt for a long time down the line.
That's significant, yeah.
We're going to be, there's going to be so many consequences. People are going to lose their jobs, they're going to lose their homes, there's going to be higher unemployment, greater poverty, worse mental health, and all sorts of things. So we feel that we need to just, we've been going 50 odd years. We want to be around another 50, but we want to be able to be there when this secondary emergency manifests itself, a few months down the line, and hopefully there will still be other emergency funds there, but we're going to carrying on doing what we've always tried to do, but we hopefully responding to the needs as they emerge, and trying to encourage our trustees to meet a bit more frequently over the summer. We can do it all with this wonderful Zoom and other technology, and nobody's going on holiday, so we can meet a bit more frequently and try and speed up our timescales, because normally it's 3 to 5 months that you might get a positive decision. Right, okay. We're trying to reduce that down. But we do recognise there may be even more urgent needs. We can't guarantee that we can meet it, but we're very happy to talk to people. If anybody's got an urgent need or just wants to have a chat about anything, me and my colleagues are available. You can either email us, or on mine and my colleague Eddie Bowman's number are our website. Say mine is 07817192305. We're still waiting to get the phone from the office diverted. I think the phone companies have been inundated like everybody else has been. So, but it may happen eventually, and that will then come through to my phone.
Still open for business. That's the main message.
Yeah, and we'll still be open for business. As we have been for the last 50 odd years. So, could you
give us an idea then, Phil, in terms of continuing the work that you do, just general, so groups have an idea. What would be an average grant size that you're considering? And obviously, I know the situation's changed because obviously the current crisis, and I know there are some organisations like the Lottery saying that we are doing running costs and the core costs, but actually we're only doing that for a 6-month period rather than longer, because actually we're not quite sure what that looks like beyond at that moment, and it's about being able to respond and change things differently. Where does the foundation, where does that sit with yourselves then at the minute?
Well, generally speaking, our average grant is around £6,000 a year. Okay. We're probably, certainly if our last trustees meeting a couple of weeks ago is only to go by, because we don't know where we're going to be up to, we're tending not to look at multi-year grants. So we're probably just looking at a year, or if the need is, or if there's a specific time limited need, even shorter. But we always say ask for what you need, but bear in mind it's unlikely to be 20 grand. we do fund running costs. We recognise that there's going to be, even if you're shutting down your service, there's still going to be costs. There's going to be rent, possibly. There's going to be, if you may not be able to furlough some staff. Then whatever, there'll be utilities and contracts and all that sort of thing, which you can't just cancel for the duration of the lockdown.
Yeah.
So we will recognise that as well, but it's about keeping organisations going, because the need for the voluntary community sector, with what I've called the secondary emergency, is going to be even greater than it has been, and so it's important that we and other funders are around to try and support that now and in the future.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
I mean, we don't know where we're going to be up to. All our income comes from investments. So when the stock market was plummeting, it was looking pretty scary. It was worse than 2008. But it's recovering. All the governments, or a lot of governments, are putting in a large amount of stimulus back into the economies, which is sort of stabilising those investments. But we still don't know. We won't be getting anything from what's the word? Dividends.
Dividends back. Yeah.
A lot of those have been cancelled. So we're going to be, in the short term, perhaps getting a bit, in a less stable financial situation ourselves.
Probably need to be more focused, don't you? Yeah. You need to be more focused at those points about what it is that you want to support.
But I don't think our desire isn't to cut our levels of funding. Despite that, we didn't cut it after 2008 either, and we may even increase it. But and then as things stabilise, we might have to cut back a bit. But we don't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody's got a crystal ball, have we? Definitely not.
Exactly. If you'd asked us 2 months ago where we were going to be up to, it'd been a very different story, wouldn't it? Even a month ago, really.
Definitely. So that's really positive, to be quite honest, to hear, Phil. Specifically for those smaller groups, obviously, where even £6,000 is a lot of money to the smaller organised groups. In terms of eligibility, is it? I know some trusts want you to be a registered charity, or they won't fund CICs or whatever. Where is it that the foundation stands in terms of eligibility of status for groups then?
As long as you're a constituted organisation,
okay.
And the nature of your work is charitable in law, so you can have the Charity Commission website, which is fairly broad, but I mean most people have a common sense idea of what charitable work is.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a registered charity. We prefer it if you are, because it gives us more security in terms of that the work is the organisation is being run properly. Also, just on a legal point of view, if we give a grant to a non-charity, it's our trustees' responsibility to make sure that it is being used charitably. Whereas if we give it to another charity, it's just like you and I giving money, to whoever we might give money to, Oxfam or whoever. It's their money then. So it helps. But CICs, non-registered charities, social enterprises, they are eligible to apply. As long as you've got a bank account, which requires 2 unrelated signatories, you've got a constitution, and you intend to publish annual accounts every year, and that's all fine. We like you to have an independent committee if you can, so it's not just the directors of a CIC or whatever also being paid to run the organisation. In the site if possible. But that's some, if there's good reasons that you haven't got that, then we can talk about that and see why that automatically disqualify you.
That's great. That's good to hear. So we're talking about preferably a registered charity, but it's not necessarily essential. Obviously, charitable aims, charitable purposes. So we're talking about, CICs are potentially eligible if.
Yeah, we funded quite a lot of CICs.
And non-charitable groups, but are constituted. So maybe some self-organised groups that have a set of rules and have a management committee and a bank account in their own name, rather than, but obviously not funding individuals, which is a given anyway with charitable foundations like yourself. So
yeah, I mean, there's some exceptions to the sorts of work, things which we don't like to fund.
Okay, which would be,
you can find on our website, but
okay.
But even within those, there may be flexibility. For example, we say we don't fund sports, we don't fund arts and industries, but sometimes we might fund an organisation which is doing a film or something like that, but it's not the film which is the main reason that they're doing it. As long as it's not and they may be doing football coaching, might not be the football, which is the reason they're doing it. So it depends on what the ultimate outcome is.
Yeah. So if it's about improving mental health or a specific kind of accessibility around disability, or improving kind of self-esteem, confidence, or something that's that, then obviously, but it's done through the method
or telling stories. Have you gone, or was it me?
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, great. Well, obviously there's a lot of organisations out there that, even I know in both Halton and St Helens, that are providing services online that are around mental health, well-being, just keeping people connected, reducing that isolation. So again, it's using various methods to be able to meet those needs, isn't it, that essentially you would consider, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I would add is we tend not to fund big organisations. So
so local branch.
Anything over £1 million income, I know that's probably not going to apply to many groups. We do particularly want to encourage the small groups, the ones with an income of pretty much voluntary run, or maybe one member of staff or a couple of part-timers, ones with an income maybe of less than 50,000 a year. Particularly keen to sort of hear from those groups, and we try not to, I know people find funders can find them a bit intimidating, or the idea of getting in touch, but we do, it's really helpful for us if, to get to know people and just to have a chat, and
absolutely
don't feel that we don't want to talk, because we do, and it helps you, it helps us.
So it's not that you're excluding those ones that are slightly over in it, but it's just obviously obviously it's going to even have more of an impact for the ones that have less of an income, essentially.
Exactly, because our grants aren't the most massive ones. We're not like a Reaching Communities grant or something like that, but so it will benefit a smaller organisation. And our trustees, it's always been from our foundation that we felt that the groups who are working closest to the people they're trying to work with, or are part of more importantly, part of the communities which they're working with, are more likely to know what the need is and have that trust and have that effectiveness. And we had identified before the crisis that we were getting fewer applications from those smaller groups in recent years, and it was something we were going to sort of start trying to market more towards those groups. So anything which you can do to help us, Annie, that would be very useful.
Yeah, well, certainly along with this video, we're going to post all the links to your website, post all details, phone numbers and emails for yourself. So please be prepared. Hopefully groups will kind of start picking up the phone or dropping you an email, which would be good.
I'll make sure it's charged up.
But equally so, how do they actually apply? Is it an online application, or do they have to need the application process?
We like to have a chat. You can email us. We like to have a chat either by email or on the phone, just to make sure that it's worth your while and our while.
absolutely.
Apply, and then we send you by email normally. I think most people, it's a long time to send one out by post. Just a basic organisational details form, and then we ask you a few questions for you to put in a letter saying, you know, who you are, what you want to do, why you want to do it, how much money you need. And you know, that comes back to us. The process then normally is, I mean, these aren't normal times, but that would then go to our trustees, and they would tell me who they want us to investigate further. They give me a short list, and then normally I go and visit, but I'll have a meeting like this to find out more. And you know, we ask you for a bit more documentation then if you get shortlisted, things like annual reports and so on.
Brilliant. So just as another bit of information, if a group decided to pick up the phone as of like maybe this week or in coming weeks, and it's something that you kind of say yes, progress with, is that something that they need to going to be planning for maybe after the summer period in terms of an activity or a project, or what's going on? Are we talking like starting from maybe
it's possible. I mean, normally yes, normally we would say our timescales are 3 to 5 months. But as we know, it's not normal, and I think with the technology we can be a bit more flexible. I'm trying to encourage our trustees to perhaps meet a bit more often, so you know, we can discuss what your timescales are, and if it's something which is very time critical, then you know, I don't know whether we can say yes, you know, we might be able to get you a decision within that time, but we'll give it a go.
Brilliant. I think the key message then I've picked up is organisations just need to pick up the phone or drop you an email and have that conversation. And it's about thinking that through with you about what it is they're potentially planning and proposing, and whether that has some mileage with your foundation as well from there.
Correct.
Brilliant. Well, that's definitely something that's going to be beneficial to groups. And yes, we will post all the contact details within this. Phil, it's been really, really helpful, really useful. Thank you for taking some time out just to kind of connect and just kind of tell us that you're still here. You still want to hear from groups. It's not just necessarily about the crisis for you. It's about what else you can offer, which is fantastic. So yeah, thank you for your time.
All right, well, thank you very much, Annie, and keep up the good work.